Welcome back to the Top Liberty Coins. Today we are diving into a coin that millions of people have seen but very few truly understand. The legendary 1966 Washington quarter. At first glance it looks like an ordinary 25-cent coin, but behind its design lies an interesting story about American history, metal shortages, coin collecting, and the possibility that certain examples can be worth far more than their face value. Imagine opening an old coin jar, or checking your pocket change, and suddenly noticing the date 1966. Most people would think it is just another quarter worth 25 cents. But collectors know that every coin tells a story, and sometimes a simple coin can become a valuable collectible depending on its condition, rarity, and mint errors. The coin belongs to the famous Washington Quarter series, one of the most recognized coins in the United States. The design features the profile of George Washington, the first President of the United States. The portrait was designed by John Flanagan, a sculptor whose artwork became one of the most iconic coin designs in American history. When you look at the front of the coin you see Washington's profile facing left with the word Liberty above his head. The motto "In God We Trust" appears near the lower left area, and the date 1966 is displayed clearly beneath the portrait. On the reverse side of the coin there is a powerful American eagle with wings spread wide, clutching arrows and olive branches, symbolizing both strength and peace. But the year 1966 was a very special time for American coins. Only a couple of years earlier, the United States had faced a serious silver shortage. People were removing silver coins from circulation because the metal itself was becoming more valuable. As a result, the government made a historic decision to change the metal composition of coins. Before 1965, quarters were made from 90% silver. But beginning in 1965, the government replaced silver with a copper-nickel-clad composition. This means the 1966 quarter does not contain silver. Instead it is made from layers of copper and nickel bonded together, with copper forming the inner core and nickel covering the outer surfaces. Another unusual detail about this coin is that it has no mint mark. Normally American coins include a letter showing where they were made, such as P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. However, between 1965 and 1967 the United States Mint intentionally removed mint marks from coins to discourage people from collecting and hoarding them during the coin shortage. Because of this policy, every 1966 quarter appears without a mint mark, even though most were produced at the Philadelphia Mint. This makes the coin look mysterious to many beginners who wonder if their coin might be rare. In total more than 821 million of these quarters were produced, which means the coin is extremely common in everyday circulation. At this point many viewers might be thinking that if the coin is common then it cannot be valuable. But the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Condition and rarity can change everything. A heavily circulated 1966 quarter that has scratches, wear, and dull surfaces is usually worth its face value of 25 cents. Some collectors may pay slightly more, perhaps 30 or 50 cents, but generally these coins are very common. However, when the coin is preserved in excellent condition, especially if it has never been used in circulation, the value can increase dramatically. Collectors refer to such coins as mint state coins. A mint state 1966 quarter can sell for several dollars or even tens of dollars depending on the grade. Some examples graded around MS-65 might sell between a few dollars and around $20, but the real excitement begins when collectors discover extremely high-grade coins or rare mint errors. Certain special mint set versions from 1966, sometimes called SMS coins, can reach hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their quality and grading. Some high-grade examples have sold for several $1,000s at auctions. Even more incredible are the rarest high-grade specimens. Some top-graded coins have sold for astonishing prices reaching many thousands of dollars when collectors compete at auction. One exceptional specimen in extremely high grade has even reached values approaching $21,000 in recent years. This shows that even a coin with a face value of just 25 cents can become a serious collectible if the conditions are right. Another fascinating aspect of the 1966 quarter involves mint errors. During the manufacturing process, coins are struck by powerful presses that imprint the design onto blank metal discs. Occasionally mistakes occur, and these mistakes can turn an ordinary coin into a rare treasure. One type of error is called a double die. This happens when the design is accidentally impressed twice in slightly different positions, creating a visible doubling effect on letters or numbers. For example, collectors sometimes search for doubling in the words "I in God We Trust" or on the date 1966. If a strong double die variety is discovered, the coin could be worth tens or hundreds of dollars depending on the severity of the error and the condition of the coin. Another variety involves doubling on the reverse side, especially around the eagle's feathers or the inscription E pluribus unum. Such double die reverse coins can reach several $100s or even more when certified and preserved in high condition. Collectors also search for off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other unusual production mistakes. These types of errors occur when the coin blank is not properly positioned during striking or when the metal strip used to create blanks is imperfect. An off-center coin might show part of the design missing, while a clipped planchet coin might have a curved section missing from the edge. These unusual appearances often make the coin more desirable to collectors who specialize in mint errors. Sometimes collectors even speculate about the possibility of a rare transitional error where a coin might have been struck on the wrong metal blank. Although no confirmed silver 1966 quarters have been verified for circulation, a coin accidentally struck on an older silver blank would be considered extremely rare and could potentially be worth thousands of dollars. This is why many coin collectors carefully examine their change, coin rolls, and old collections. A single overlooked coin could be hiding a valuable mistake or an exceptional condition. Beyond its value, the 1966 quarter also represents an important moment in American history. It reflects the transition from traditional silver coinage to modern clad coinage. This change reshaped the entire United States coin system and marked the end of the silver era for everyday circulating coins. Collectors often consider the years around 1964 to 1967 as a turning point in coin history. During this period, the government responded to rising silver prices, coin shortages, and public hoarding by redesigning the composition of coins and temporarily removing mint marks. The result was a fascinating chapter in numismatic history that continues to interest collectors today. For collectors who enjoy searching for hidden treasures, the 1966 quarter remains a fun and accessible coin. Because so many were produced, they can still be found in circulation or in old coin collections. Yet among those millions of coins, a few exceptional examples stand out and become valuable collectibles. So the next time you see a quarter dated 1966, take a moment to examine it closely. Look at the condition of the surfaces. Check the details of Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. Look carefully for any doubling in the letters or unusual striking errors. You might just discover a coin that is worth far more than 25 cents. Coin collecting is not just about money. It is about history, discovery, and the thrill of searching for something rare. Every coin has traveled through time, passing from one person to another, carrying with it a small piece of history, and sometimes, hidden among ordinary coins, there is a story waiting to be discovered. If you enjoy exploring rare coins, valuable quarters, and hidden treasures, make sure to follow this channel. Top Liberty Coin. Here we uncover the stories behind coins that many people overlook and show how small pieces of metal can hold big value. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins that collectors still search for in pocket change, the famous 1974 $quarter coin. Many people see this coin every day and never imagine that some versions of this ordinary-looking coin can actually become extremely valuable depending on condition, rarity, and special mint errors. Some collectors spend years searching for the perfect example because hidden among millions of ordinary coins are rare pieces that collectors are willing to pay serious money for. The $quarter coin has a long and rich history in the United States, and the design that appears on the 1974 quarter is known as the Washington quarter. This coin features the portrait of the first president of the United States, George Washington, whose image has appeared on the quarter since 1932. The design was created by the famous sculptor John Flanagan and it became one of the most recognizable coin designs in the world. When you look closely at a 1974 quarter, you will see the powerful profile of George Washington facing left. Above his head you can read the word Liberty, and below the portrait you will find the year 1974. On the reverse side of the coin, the traditional design shows a majestic eagle with wings spread wide, holding arrows and olive branches that symbolize both strength and peace. Around the eagle you will see the words United States of America and $quarter. At first glance the 1974 quarter may appear like just another coin worth 25 cents, but the story behind this coin is far more interesting than many people realize. By the time this coin was produced, the United States had already made a major change to its coinage. Before 1965, quarters were made from 90% silver. However, rising silver prices forced the government to remove silver from circulating coins. As a result, the 1974 quarter was made using a copper and nickel-clad composition instead of precious metal. This means the coin contains a copper core with outer layers made of nickel and copper. This change made coins cheaper to produce, but it also means that most quarters from this era are common. The 1974 quarter weighs about 5.67 grams and measures approximately 24.3 millimeters in diameter. These specifications were designed to maintain the traditional look and feel of the quarter even though the metal composition had changed. In 1974 the United States Mint produced an enormous number of these coins. Hundreds of millions were struck in different mint facilities. The largest number came from the Philadelphia Mint, which produced more than 800 million coins that year. The Denver Mint also produced hundreds of millions of coins, while the San Francisco Mint created a smaller number of proof coins intended for collectors. Because so many were produced, most 1974 quarters found in circulation today are worth only their face value of 25 cents. However, coin collectors know that value depends heavily on condition and rarity. A worn coin that circulated for decades will usually be worth only its face value, but an uncirculated coin that was preserved carefully can be worth several dollars or more. In average circulated condition, a typical 1974 quarter may still be worth around 25 cents. But when collectors find a coin in mint state condition, meaning it has never been used in circulation and still retains its original shine, the value can increase significantly. Some mint state examples can sell for several dollars, and in exceptional cases much higher depending on grading and demand. The real excitement begins when collectors discover rare high-grade specimens or unusual mint errors. A high-grade coin graded at the top levels of preservation can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars. In fact, one exceptional proof coin from the San Francisco Mint graded at the highest level sold for more than $10,000 at auction, showing just how valuable a perfect example can become. Collectors pay such high prices because perfect coins are incredibly rare. Even though millions were minted, very few survived in flawless condition. Most coins were quickly released into circulation where they experienced wear, scratches, and damage from everyday use. Finding a coin that still looks brand new after decades is extremely difficult. Another fascinating aspect of the 1974 quarter is the possibility of mint errors. Mint errors occur during the coin production process when something unusual happens. For example, sometimes a coin is struck on the wrong metal blank, known as a wrong planchet error. These mistakes are extremely rare and highly desirable among collectors. Some 1974 quarters struck on incorrect planchets have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the severity and rarity of the error. Other collectible varieties include double dies, off-center strikes, and lamination errors. Each of these errors creates a unique coin that stands out from normal examples. Because collectors love rare and unusual coins, these pieces can command impressive prices at auctions. If you are searching for a valuable 1974 quarter, one of the first things to check is the mint mark. The mint mark tells you where the coin was produced. Coins from Philadelphia typically have no mint mark on coins of that era, while coins from Denver have a small D. Proof coins from San Francisco carry the letter S. Each mint produced coins in different quantities, which can influence rarity and collector demand. Another important factor is the overall condition of the coin. Collectors use a grading scale to evaluate coins, ranging from heavily worn to perfect mint condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin usually becomes. Tiny details such as the sharpness of Washington's hair, the clarity of the lettering, and the brightness of the surface can make a significant difference in value. Many people dream of finding a valuable coin in everyday change, and the truth is that it does happen. Rare coins are sometimes discovered in old collections, coin rolls from banks, estate sales, or even loose change jars. Because the 1974 quarter was produced in such huge numbers, there is always a small chance that a rare high-grade example or unusual error could still be hiding somewhere. Coin collecting is not just about money. It is also about history, discovery, and the thrill of searching for hidden treasures. Every coin tells a story about the time when it was created, the people who used it, and the journey it has taken through decades of circulation. The 1974 quarter represents a fascinating period in American coinage when the country had recently transitioned away from silver coinage and moved toward modern clad coins. It reflects economic changes, technological advances in minting, and the growing community of collectors who study and preserve these small pieces of history. For collectors, the excitement comes from examining each coin carefully and learning to recognize small details that others might overlook. Sometimes a tiny mark, an unusual strike, or an exceptional level of preservation can turn an ordinary coin into a valuable collectible. The next time you find a quarter in your pocket, take a moment to examine it closely. Look at the date, check the mint mark, and observe the condition of the coin. You might be holding a piece of history that has traveled through countless hands over the past 50 years, and who knows, that ordinary-looking coin might just be the beginning of your journey into the exciting world of coin collecting. If you enjoy discovering rare coins and learning about valuable currency hidden in everyday change, make sure to subscribe to the channel Coins. On this channel we explore rare coins, historical currency, and the hidden treasures that collectors search for around the world, because sometimes the smallest coins can hold the biggest stories and the greatest surprises. Today on the channel Coins we are exploring a fascinating story about the 1979 quarter dollar coin, its history, its collector demand, and the surprising value some rare examples can reach in today's coin market. The United States quarter dollar has always been one of the most widely used coins in American history. For generations it has represented everyday transactions, vending machines, bus fares, and pocket change. But behind this ordinary appearance lies a world that many people never notice, the world of coin collecting. In that world, a simple coin can become a treasure depending on its rarity, condition, mint mark, and special characteristics. The 1979 quarter dollar was part of the famous Washington quarter series. This design originally began in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington. The front of the coin features the powerful portrait of George Washington facing left, a design created by sculptor John Flanagan. Above Washington's head appears the word Liberty, while the phrase "In God We Trust" sits to the left. At the bottom is the date of the coin, and in some versions a small mint mark appears. The reverse side of the coin shows a majestic American eagle with wings spread wide. The eagle is perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, symbolizing strength and peace. Around the top edge appear the words United States of America, while the value quarter dollar is written below. This classic design remained on U.S. quarters for decades before later designs replaced it. Now let's focus on the specific coin collectors often search for, the 1979 quarter. The small letter D indicates that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint in the United States. During 1979 millions of quarters were produced at several mints including Philadelphia and Denver. Because such large numbers were made, most of these coins are still worth only their face value of 25 cents. However, the coin market does not treat every coin the same. Condition is extremely important. A coin that has circulated in pockets for decades will show scratches, worn details, and dull surfaces. But a coin that somehow remained untouched since it left the mint may appear almost perfect. These pristine coins are graded by professionals using a scale known as the mint state grading system. Coins graded in very high mint state levels, especially MS67 or higher, can become extremely desirable among collectors. When a coin is rare in such high condition, its price can rise dramatically. Collectors compete in auctions to obtain the finest known examples for their collections. The 1979 quarter in ordinary condition might only be worth its face value. But a superb uncirculated coin with flawless surfaces and strong details can sell for much more. Some exceptional graded coins have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on demand and rarity. Coin collectors also search for something even more exciting: mint errors. Errors occur when something unusual happens during the minting process. A die crack, off-center strike, double image, or missing detail can turn a normal coin into a rare collectible. These error coins are fascinating because each one is unique and cannot easily be reproduced. For example, if a 1979 D quarter were struck with a double die error where the design appears slightly duplicated, collectors would immediately notice it. Such coins can bring large prices because error coins are far less common than normal coins. Other errors like clipped planchets, die breaks, or misaligned strikes can also increase the value significantly. Another factor that affects value is the quality of the strike itself. Sometimes coins from certain batches show sharper details than others. Collectors call these well-struck coins high-quality strikes, and they can be more valuable than weakly struck coins even if both are uncirculated. Over the years, coin auctions have produced surprising results. Rare coins that were once ignored in pocket change have later sold for astonishing amounts once collectors realized their rarity. This is why many collectors carefully check their change, coin jars, and old collections hoping to discover a hidden treasure. When you hear numbers like hundreds of thousands of dollars, it can sound unbelievable for a simple coin. But the coin collecting market is driven by rarity, demand, and history. A coin that combines all three can achieve extraordinary prices. While a typical 1979 D quarter will never reach such values, an extremely rare specimen with unique characteristics could potentially become highly valuable. Collectors often rely on professional grading services to verify authenticity and condition. These organizations carefully examine the coin under magnification and assign an official grade. Once graded and sealed in a protective holder, the coin becomes easier to trade in the collector market. The history behind the Washington quarter also adds emotional value for collectors. The design connects modern Americans to decades of history and to the legacy of George Washington himself. Each coin represents a moment in time when it was produced, carried in pockets, used in stores, and passed from person to person. Imagine the journey of a single 1979 D quarter. It may have been minted in Denver, shipped across the country, used in countless purchases, stored in jars, or forgotten in drawers. Decades later, someone might discover it again and realize that it is in incredible condition or has a rare error. Suddenly, a coin that once bought a snack could become a prized collectible. The world of coin collecting continues to grow as more people discover the excitement of searching for rare coins. Some collectors specialize in Washington quarters, while others focus on mint errors or high-grade coins. The thrill comes from the possibility that even everyday coins might hide rare treasures. So the next time you see a $quarter, take a closer look. Check the date. Look for the mint mark. Examine the details carefully. That simple habit has led many collectors to incredible discoveries over the years. Coins are more than just money. They are pieces of art, pieces of history, and sometimes pieces of hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. The 1979 D quarter may appear ordinary at first glance, but in the fascinating world of numismatics, every coin has a story, and sometimes that story can lead to surprising value. Thank you for watching the channel Coins. If you enjoy discovering the hidden value behind everyday coins and learning the history of rare currency, stay tuned for more amazing coin stories that could change the way you look at your pocket change forever. Today we are diving into one fascinating coin that collectors and curious viewers around the world continue to search for. It is the 1989 D Washington quarter, a simple-looking coin that many people have passed through their hands without ever realizing the history behind it or the surprising value some examples can reach. Imagine opening an old jar of coins at home. Maybe it has been sitting in a drawer for years. You pour the coins onto a table and begin sorting them slowly. Among the pennies, nickels, and quarters you notice a familiar design. The portrait of George Washington staring calmly from the front of the coin. At first glance it looks like just another ordinary quarter worth 25 cents. But sometimes, a coin like this can be worth far more depending on its condition, rarity, and mint characteristics. The 1989 D Washington quarter was produced in the United States during a time when billions of coins were being struck every year. The letter D on the coin represents the Denver Mint, one of the major coin-producing facilities in the country. The mint mark appears on the front side of the coin near Washington's ponytail. Many people overlook this tiny letter, yet for collectors it tells an important story about where the coin was born. the design of this quarter belongs to a long-running series known as the Washington Quarter Series. It first began in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of the first President of the United States, George Washington. The portrait was designed by the sculptor John Flanagan. His design remained on the coin for decades and became one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. When you look closely at the front of the coin, you see the word Liberty above Washington's head. Below the portrait appears the phrase "In God We Trust." Around the bottom edge is the year 1989, marking the moment in history when that particular coin entered circulation. The reverse side shows an eagle with its wings spread wide, holding arrows and olive branches, representing both strength and peace. During 1989, the United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters in Denver. Because of this large production number, most of these coins are common and usually only worth their face value. However, collectors know that certain coins can stand out from the crowd. Small variations, unusual mint errors, or coins preserved in extremely high condition can make a massive difference in value. A typical circulated 1989 D quarter might only be worth 25 cents or slightly more. But when collectors discover one in nearly perfect condition, something amazing can happen. Coins graded in top mint state conditions can sell for many dollars or even hundreds depending on rarity within that grade. Grading is an important concept in coin collecting. Experts carefully inspect every tiny detail of the coin, including scratches, luster, color, and sharpness of the design. A coin that looks brand new with no signs of wear is considered mint state. The higher the grade, the rarer the coin becomes because fewer examples survive in that condition after decades of circulation. Sometimes collectors also discover mint errors. A mint error happens during the coin production process. For example, the coin may be struck slightly off-center, the metal planchet might have a defect, or the design could appear doubled due to misalignment of the dies. These unusual characteristics can transform an ordinary coin into a highly desirable collectible. Stories of valuable coins often start in surprising places. A coin found in pocket change, inside a vending machine return slot, or hidden in an old piggy bank can suddenly attract the attention of collectors. The thrill of discovery is one reason coin collecting remains such a popular hobby around the world. The 1989 D Washington quarter is also part of a much larger historical journey of American currency. Quarters have been circulating in the United States for more than 2 centuries, evolving in design and symbolism. Each generation of coins reflects the culture, art, and history of the time when it was created. The Washington portrait itself became a powerful symbol of national identity. For many decades, millions of people handled these coins daily without stopping to think about the craftsmanship involved in their creation. Yet behind every coin is a detailed process of engraving, die preparation, and high-pressure striking that transforms plain metal into miniature works of art. Collectors often search through rolls of quarters from banks hoping to discover older pieces or coins with unusual characteristics. This practice is known as coin roll hunting. While most rolls contain ordinary coins, occasionally someone discovers a rare variety or an exceptionally preserved example that can be worth far more than expected. Now let us talk about value. The price of any coin changes depending on market demand, condition, and collector interest. While many 1989 D quarters are common, certain pristine specimens have been listed or discussed in collector markets at surprisingly high figures. Some exaggerated listings online even claim extraordinary values such as $787,976.43. These numbers capture attention and spark curiosity among viewers and new collectors. However, real coin markets depend heavily on verified grading and auction results. The highest prices are typically achieved only by coins that are certified by professional grading companies and recognized as among the finest known examples. Even if your 1989 D quarter is not worth a fortune, it can still be a fascinating piece of history. Holding a coin that has traveled through countless hands since 1989 connects you to decades of everyday life. Perhaps it bought a cup of coffee, paid for a bus ride, or rested in someone's pocket during an important moment. The beauty of coin collecting is that anyone can participate. You do not need expensive equipment or rare treasures to begin. Sometimes the most exciting discoveries start with simple curiosity and a careful look at the coins you already have. next time you receive change, pause for a moment and examine the quarters closely. Look for the year, the mint mark, and the condition of the coin. You might begin to notice differences that once seemed invisible. Over time your eye becomes trained to spot unusual details that others might miss. The world of coins is full of surprises. A tiny piece of metal only a few centimeters wide can carry stories of history, art, economics, and human curiosity. That is why collectors continue to search through millions of coins hoping to find the one piece that stands out from the rest. The 1989 D Washington quarter reminds us that value is not always obvious at first glance. Sometimes the most ordinary objects hide extraordinary possibilities. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone just beginning the journey, every coin has the potential to teach something new. So keep exploring your pocket change, keep learning about coin history, and keep your curiosity alive. Because somewhere out there, the next fascinating discovery might already be waiting quietly inside a simple jar of coins. And if you enjoy exploring hidden value and amazing stories behind everyday currency, stay connected with CoinScript, where every coin has a story and every story could lead to a treasure.